metric potential. Vaishika asked this question. Regarding metric potential, just a few points I will tell you. What is metric potential means? This metric potential, actually water potential is denoted as psi W, pressure potential is denoted as psi P, solute potential is denoted as psi S. This metric potential is denoted as psi M. Psi M. Here, what is this metric potential means? When dry materials are absorbing water, just imbibition we studied. Imbibition. What is imbibition? Dry materials are absorbing water and they are increasing in the size. Dry materials means wood or paper or seeds, whatever it is. When dry plant materials are absorbing water, because that dry materials have great affinity towards water to absorb water material. Because in dry material there is very less content of water, so they have great affinity to absorb the water. See here, dry materials like wood, paper, seeds absorb water more as they have great affinity to water. They have great affinity to absorb the water. They are readily absorbing the water. Okay. Here, due to this absorption, there is a decrease. There is a decrease in total free molecules of water in water medium. Total free molecules of water in a medium. The total number of free molecules of water, there is a decrease. If water is there, from that water they are absorbing water. As water is absorbed, there is a decrease. Okay, see here, so that free energy of water also decreases. Free energy of water also decreases. There is a decline in the free energy. So that what happens? That water potential is falling down. Free energy is decreasing means water potential is also decreasing. So this causes decrease in water potential. That loss or change in the free energy of water molecules due to this metric forces. Metric forces means hydrophilic substances are absorbing water, they are decreasing the water force. That is what we call metric potential. Here, the quantum change, that means the free energy change. Free energy change in water due to metric forces. What are metric forces? Metric forces means which are hydrophilic substances which are taking water by dry material is called metric potential, which is called psi m. The quantum change in water molecules due to loss of water molecules from the medium by the metric forces or hydrophilic substances by absorbing water from the medium. That change in metric forces is called metric potential. Okay, so what happens? Metric potential like solute potential. Metric potential also decreases water potential. So metric potential is always negative. Metric potential is more means water potential is decreasing. More metric potential, less water potential. Note down the point. Metric potential is always negative. Okay. Complete. Metric potential is always negative. That means metric potential is increasing means water potential will decrease. That is metric potential, Vaishika. Yeah. Can I erase the board? Yes. Thank you. Next, see, diffusion pressure we studied now. Another concept which is related to the diffusion pressure. Diffusion pressure deficit. Diffusion pressure deficit, which is also called DPD. Diffusion pressure deficit or DPD. Actually, it is a term which is used to water potential, related to water potential and this diffusion pressure. You know, pure water has maximum water potential, so that pure water has maximum water potential, so that it has diffusion pressure. What is the diffusion pressure? When a substance is moving from high concentration to low concentration medium, for that movement, they tend to move from high concentration to low concentration. So there is a change in potential energy to kinetic energy. They will develop a potential which is diffusion pressure. Movement of molecule from high concentration to low concentration develop a pressure called as diffusion pressure. If that diffusion pressure is more, that means diffusion is very fast. Diffusion pressure is less means then the movement of molecules will be less. Pure water has maximum water potential is there. So this pure water, pure water diffusion pressure will be lowered. It gets lowered, decreased due to addition of solutes. Pure water has a maximum water potential or diffusion maximum. Diffusion pressure maximum is there in pure water, or it has maximum water potential. When a solute molecule is added to water, what will happen? If solutes are added, solute concentration will increase. So that solute potential will increase. Solute potential is increasing means water potential will be decreasing. See here, when a solute is added, water potential is decreased. There is a decrease in water potential due to addition of solutes. How much water potential is decreased due to addition of a solute? That is what called diffusion pressure deficit or diffusion pressure loss. Okay. the reduction in the diffusion pressure of water to pure water due to addition of solutes. The loss or reduction in diffusion pressure dP of water, diffusion pressure of water in a solution. In a solution means when solute molecules are added over its pure form, otherwise to its pure water, is called DPD. When pure water is there, it has a maximum water potential, it has maximum diffusion pressure also. But when a solute molecule is added, there is a decrease in the water potential or diffusion pressure of pure water. Here, for addition of that solute, if solute is added, how much reduction is there in the water potential? That is what we call diffusion pressure deficit, which is also called as DPD. Okay, note down that. This DPD can be written as osmotic potential minus water potential. Osmotic potential minus water potential. Osmotic pressure minus water potential gives this one. What is osmotic pressure developing? Pure water has maximum osmotic pressure. Minus when solute is there, that has some water potential. If we remove that from pure water osmotic potential, then it gives diffusion pressure deficit. Okay, note down this. Note down this. Osmotic pressure minus water potential. OP means osmotic pressure. Osmotic potential, what is osmotic potential means? Phi S is there, na? That phi S is called as osmotic potential. Solute potential is equal to osmotic potential. Solute potential is equal to osmotic potential. Osmotic pressure is different. Okay, yeah, completed. Very good. So you know about diffusion pressure deficit or metric potential. So both are similar. Metric potential is due to inhibition. Absorption of water by dry materials like imbibition, there is a decrease in the free energy of the water molecules. That is, we are calling that metric potential. Whereas presence of solutes in water is decreasing water potential of the pure water. So in both cases there is reduction in the water potential. There loss of water molecule is reducing water potential in metric potential. In diffusion pressure deficit, due to presence of addition of solutes, there is a decrease in the water potential. In both cases there is reduction or decrease in the water potential. Okay, diffusion pressure deficit, loss of diffusion pressure due to presence of some solutes. metric potential, due to absorption of water by dry material, there is a decrease in the free energy of water. Okay, right. Next, see long distance transport. Long distance transport. That long distance transport is we are studying as a process called as translocation. Short distance transports we completed till now. What are short distance transports? Diffusion, which is simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, active transport, then that water movements, osmosis, plasmolysis, imbibition, all they are short distance transports. Short distance transport means there is movement of a substance from cell to cell of a tissue, or within a cell from one organelle to another organelle, or from one cell to extracellular space. From one cell to extracellular space, that is short distance. Within a cell from one organelle to another organelle, that is also same process. Or within a tissue from one cell to another cell, adjacent cell, that is also short distance. But long distance transport, this long distance transport, you might study already in lower standards about this long distance transport. Here, in some experiment like a twig of herbaceous plant. Yesterday someone asked me, herbaceous plant means medicinal plant, sir. Here herbs means not medicine. Herbaceous plant means they are not medicinal plants. Herbaceous plants are those which have weak stem, smooth stem, soft stem, no wood. They are herbaceous according to morphology. Okay. Anyway, if we take a twig of stem and if we keep that twig of stem in a color solution like eosin or balsamin, like that, a colored solution is taken which is red colored or some like barium chloride which has a different type of color. When a twig of plant is kept here, twig means weak stem may have some twigs. When a twig of plant is which is carrying some flowers also, like white flowers or some other flowers. Suppose this has white flower. A twig which has white flowers is kept in a colored water. This is white colored flower. In lower standards that experiment may come. Even you did the experiment or didn't experiment, that I don't know. Simply a twig of some plants which have weak stem, herbaceous stem, soft stems are there now, like which are coiling stems, which is coiling on support, weak stem. That a twig is taken and it is kept in a colored solution. This has white flowers actually. When it is kept in colored solution and observed for some time, the color of flower will be turned to the color of solution from white to another color. Okay. Here, if we observe that end of the twig by cutting sometime, here this color water what is present here, that is being moved to top portion. Here color solution like balsamin, eosin, I will tell you, I will write here. When they are kept in a solution and observed for some time, this is a twig of the plant which stem is there that is absorbing water and water is moving to top portion. Even color of the flowers is also being changed. Okay. So this, by examining that, we can observe, or this explains that there is a transport of water over a long distance through the bundles of xylem what is present in middle of the stem. In middle of the stem there is presence of xylem bundles. The path of water movement is in the vascular bundle. Okay, majorly xylem, that is responsible for the movement of water. Write that point now. Write that point. When a twig of stem is placed in a colored solution, and observed after some time, white flowered twig will change in its color, after some time. Okay, next point. On examining the cut end, of the twig after few hours, the region or the cut region observed that color water moved in. The cut region observed that color water moved into that there is a movement. Next, this easily demonstrates that the path of movement, water movements, is through vascular bundles, more specifically xylem. Next point. A dilute solution of eosin, EOSIN, a dilute solution of eosin, a red dye. A red dye is taken in water in a beaker or taken in water or taken in a beaker, taken in a water in beaker, otherwise taken in beaker, in which a twig is placed. A twig is placed. After some time, veins of the leaves appear. Veins of the leaves appear red and some parts of the stem become pink. Some parts of the stem becomes pink. A section, repeat, yeah. After some time, veins of the leaves appear red and some parts of the stem becomes pink and some parts of the stem becomes pink. Next point. A section of the stem or petiole of the stem or petiole shows that a section of stem or petiole shows that only xylem elements have taken stain. Only xylem elements have taken the stained solution, indicating that only xylem taken the stained solution, indicating that water moves through the xylem. And it is clear that water moves through tertiary elements of xylem, tracheids and vessels. Okay, so from that experiment we can say that water is transporting. How we can say? To observe the movement of water, water is stained with a color pigment like eosin, which gives red color. Water is more transported means then the pot is becoming red color. Water is less transported means that is becoming pink color due to less content of eosin, like that. See this here, for short distances, what is possible? Diffusion is majorly involving in short distance transport, along with that what active transport, and diffusion is modified diffusion by osmosis, like that. Some processes of diffusion, facilitated diffusion, simple diffusion, like osmosis, they are responsible for the transport. But long distance transport cannot be taken place by the diffusion. Cannot done. Long distance transport cannot be done by diffusion, because diffusion is short distance transport, and that diffusion is not sufficient. Diffusion alone, only diffusion is not sufficient for the long distance transport. That means diffusion may be involving in long distance also, but not only diffusion. That is the point. And this diffusion is a slow process. Diffusion is very slow process. Diffusion is very slow process, right? It is very slow process. It can account only for short distance, because from one cell to cell, from one organelle to organelle, there is a transport, means that is enough. Why? Because transport from organelle to organelle, suppose cytoplasm to vacuole, vacuole to cytoplasm, or from inside the cell to extracellular space into the cell wall, like that, there is a transport, means that is okay, because distances are very small. It accounts only for short distance transport. So diffusion accounts only for short distances. It cannot alone transport for long distances. Why? Because if we take an example, here one water molecule moves across one cell within 2.5 seconds. One water molecule crosses a cell one water molecule passes or crosses one plant cell which has around 50 micrometers of length, in 2.5 seconds. One water molecule will cross or pass across one typical plant cell that has a 50 micrometers of size in around 2.5 seconds. In this case, such a way, what is the time needed to move or to carry for 1 meter? For one plant cell which has 50 micrometers, it is taking around 2.5 seconds. So that If you take 1 meter of distance of plant cells, 50 micrometers means 1000 micrometers is equal to 1 millimeter. So 1 millimeter is equal to this is 50 into 20. Then it will give 1 millimeter. 2.5 into 20. 1 millimeter. 1 millimeter. Then 10 millimeter is equal to 1 centimeter. Then 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter, you know. So that means 1000 millimeters is equal to 1 meter, you know. So 50 micrometers into 20 gives 1 millimeter. Into 100 means it will give then 1 meter. For this distance, it is taking around 13.8 hours. Around 13.8 hours time is required to move water molecule in a distance of 1 meter through plant tissue. At this rate, at which rate? This one crossing of water molecule in one cell is 2.5 seconds means to move for 1 meter it will take around 13.8 hours time. Okay, so in plant cells water molecules are moving over very large distances. Okay, sometimes not only water, water are organic materials, substances, they are moved to be from one area to another area which have very large distances. So water and organic substances are moving over long distances where in highly developed organisms like complex organisms which have large organisms. You know, some plants are herbaceous plants which are growing only some feet of height. They can complete their life cycle within 1 month, like the Pisum sativum, groundnuts. Their length or height is not much more, no problem. But what about very tall plants? Mango plants are growing very tall. Eucalyptus is growing very tall. Coconut, it has very more height. Okay, palm trees, they have more height. Eucalyptus plants also have more height. If you take Pinus gymnosperms, they have very more height. For that height, the movement is very difficult. So sometimes production and absorption of substances are far away. What is the production and absorption of substances? They are very too far. Absorption, production means suppose the photosynthesis is taking place in leaves. Okay, that food which is produced in photosynthesis may be absorbed by roots. Even storage, absorption of substances or storage pots are too far. Leaf is responsible for production of food by photosynthesis. Sometimes roots are preserving food material and roots act as storage organs of the food. So the distance of production of food and storage of food, they are very far away. So that for these distances, not only for water, for organic materials also, simple diffusion or whatever it is, facilitated diffusion or even active transports, they are not sufficient to carry molecules from one area to very long area. Over long distances, they cannot sufficient to move. So for that, special long distance transport mechanisms are needed to carry over long distances. Some special mechanisms, long distance transports are needed, which are moving at high speed. Special movements or special transport processes at high speed or high rate are required for transporting these materials over long distances. Okay, here that special movement is there na, that special movement is, suppose if you take water and minerals, water and water dissolved minerals, here water and water dissolved minerals moves long distances by a process called as bulk flow. Water, minerals are transported by xylem, you know. Whereas food materials, food means organic material, organic and some minerals also, food and minerals, which are food containing minerals, they are transported by phloem. This xylem phloem transport is by mass flow or bulk flow method. Movement of water, minerals or food materials through long distances are carried from mass flow or bulk flow processes. This mass flow, bulk flow means materials on masses. Masses means more concentration or more amount of materials are being transported from one point to another point. We will see what is that mass transflow. Movements or transports of materials in bulk from one point to other points, from where they are being produced from one place to other points, from one point to another point over a long distance, they are being carried as a result of difference between pressures at two regions, as a result of pressure differences at 2 points. One point is production, food is produced at one point, or suppose if you take absorption of water is taking place at root, that is one point, and photosynthesis is taking place at leaf. So water which is absorbed by root, one point, that is being carried to leaf of the plant, that is another point. So between the 2 points, if pressure differences are there, then there is movement called bulk movement or mass movement. Here suppose what is that pressure differences? That pressure differences are two types: developing positive pressure and developing negative pressure. Suppose from one area to another area, if positive pressure is applied, pumping is there. Suppose pumping of water through a garden hose by taking a motor. Water is pumped by applying a positive pressure. That is one type of movement. Developing negative pressure at a negative end. Suppose in a bottle some drink is there. By taking a straw, we develop negative pressure by sucking. That is what we say negative pressure or suction pressure. By negative pressure also there is movement. Like that, by developing that two pressures, this is movement. Okay, movements, whether in a solution or in suspension, they are moving at the same pace as a floating river. Movement, substances are moving. In this process, substances move at same pace, that means same speed as a floating river. River floating, water floating in the river is always at same speed. So if more pressure is there means, then the pace or the speed of water movement in a floating river may increase. If water is less means, pressure is less, then pumping is also, floating of water in river also less. Like here also, this is taking place. Okay, here concentration gradient is not depending here. Concentration gradient like high concentration to low concentration is not involving here. This is unlike diffusion or concentration gradient. This is unlike diffusion. In diffusion, there is a movement where movement from high concentration to low concentration. But here, that concentration gradient is not working. Simply, they are working based on the pressure differences between 2 points, source and sink. Okay. See here, this bulk flow. What is bulk flow? I told you bulk flow means bulk movement. Bulk movement. Okay. Bulk flow can be achieved or developed, can be done by developing a positive pressure. Positive pressure at source. At the source means from where there is movement starts. Like positive pressure means pressure gradient, like hydrostatic pressure. Hydrostatic pressure which we are developing in a garden hose. Garden hose by pumping. Positive hydrostatic pressure or negative pressure. Negative hydrostatic pressure. Negative hydrostatic or write negative pressure. Positive pressure or negative pressure. What is negative pressure? Like suction. Suction by a straw. Suction pressure will be developed. So by that two pressures, this can be moved. Okay. Here, this movement, this bulk movement of materials through vascular bundles. Vascular bundles over long distances. Long distances is called translocation. So what is translocation? Translocation is movement of substances in vascular bundles, which is conducting vessels, conducting elements, conducting tissues. So through that conducting tissues, vascular bundles like xylem, phloem, if materials are moved from one place to very long distance, that process is we are calling what? Translocation. Okay. In this translocation, xylem and phloem are involved. Xylem is mainly for water and water dissolved minerals. Xylem is mainly for water and water dissolved minerals, nitrogen, some very less amounts of hormones, they are being carried through xylem. Whereas phloem is responsible for organic solvents and inorganic solutes also. Note down this, then we will see. Explain fifth point. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, yeah. In diffusion, movement is based on concentration gradient. Concentration gradient means from high concentration to low concentration, there is a movement like that we can say in diffusion. But here, not like diffusion pressure or concentration gradient from high concentration to low concentration. This is majorly depending on the pressure gradient. Pressure gradient means high pressure to low pressure. Their concentration is very important. Here, pressure is very important. Positive hydrostatic pressure gradient to negative hydrostatic pressure, there is movement. From high pressure, from the area or from the region of high pressure to the region of low pressure, there is movement of water molecules or organic foods through vascular bundles by translocation over a long distance. Okay, next. Complete? Yeah. Yes, thank you. Very good. See now. Next, absorption of water by plants. Otherwise, write the 2 points. Xylem transports water, minerals, nitrogen, and some hormones. Phloem transports organic and inorganic nutrients. Organic nutrient means food materials. Inorganic means some minerals. Organic and inorganic materials. Next, see, absorption of water by roots. How plants absorb water? Usually in mesophytes or terrestrial plants. In terrestrial plants, here water is absorbed by root hairs. Root has some hair-like structures called as root hairs. That root hairs are absorbing water with direct contact with the soil. Because the soil has water, this root hairs become directly contacting with the soil, and the water which is present in the soil, that is taken. 3 types of water are there: hygroscopic water, gravitational water, like that. So only water which is available to roots, that is only absorbed by the roots. Here, first what happens? First, water absorbed by cell wall. What is cell wall? Usually pectin cell wall or intercellular spaces, usually pectin is there na, that is taken up. Water first absorbed by cell wall layer. Pectin layer of cell wall is taking up the water by imbibition, which is by imbibition. That means this pectin cell wall is hydrophilic in nature. Cell wall is fully permeable to water by imbibition process. Because cell wall has no water means it is like a dry material, it can absorb water into the nature. Then water moves into cell sap. Cell sap means cytoplasm through plasma membrane. This is only taking place, but this movement of absorption of water into root hair cell wall, then it is taken into what? Cell sap. Root hairs are absorbed water now. From that root hairs, it has to transport into the stem. Suppose, see here, first before going into the stem, this is like a root. This root has young part at the tip. Here elongation zone some part is there. Here maturation zone is there where root hairs are present. This root hairs are absorbing water now. This absorbed water is then entered into root hair, which is like a single cell. Root hairs are always single cell structure, whereas the stem hairs are multi-celled structure. Here from this root hairs it is observed. Now root has epidermis, cortex. If there is endodermis, then inside that pericycle medulla, and middle there is the presence of vascular bundles like epidermis, cortex, endodermis, pericycle, and in middle there is the presence of xylem phloem tissue. Xylem is present at middle. So first here root hair is there means into this root hair it is absorbed first. Then it is entering into the different types. So finally it reaches. Okay. See here. Here roots absorb most of the water which is being transported into the plant. Majority of plants are absorbing water by roots only. Okay. That is very important point. Here this water is absorbed by roots and moved, that means transported to leaves where photosynthesis is taking place and water is required for that process. Okay. See here the absorption of water is done by what? Root hair. Root hair. Here millions of root hairs are present on every root. Millions of root hairs are present at every tip of root. Root has many branches. If main root is developing, that is what primary root. This primary root may have branches which are called as secondary roots. If secondary roots has further branches, they are tertiary roots. On this tertiary roots, there may be presence of number of these root hairs. Root hairs are present like hair-like structures on all primary, secondary, tertiary roots. So millions of root hairs are present. Okay. Here, these root hairs are small, slender, smooth extensions of epidermis layer of this one. Root hairs are smooth and extensions of epidermis of roots. Root epidermis is there now. That root epidermis has small hair-like extensions which are smooth in nature, they are what we are calling root hairs. So as number of millions of root hairs are forming, they will increase root hairs, increase surface area of epidermis. And root epidermis having, suppose this is root epidermis, this root epidermis has many root hairs means, so this surface area of that epidermis is being increased with the help of root hairs. Surface area for absorption. Okay. Now what happens? Water is being absorbed along with minerals into first root hairs, then it is being carried. See here, first water and minerals are absorbed into root hair. Root hair means like epidermal cells by simple diffusion. First one, there is diffusion is taking place. The entry of water from soil into root hair is done by simple diffusion, purely diffusion process. Okay. Once root hair is absorbing water, that absorbed water will be carried. Suppose I told you this is what root hair is, epidermal extension. This is a TS of root we are showing. TS of root means this is a root structure. This root has root hair. Okay. Here if you see root structure, this root has first epidermis one layer. This is epidermis. Below that there is presence of cortex layer. Suppose this is a root means here epidermis layer. This is epidermis. Below that there is presence of cortex layer. Cortex, then pericycle layer will be there. Inside the pericycle there is medulla. In that medulla there is xylem phloem. This is pericycle on either side. Medulla, in that middle there is xylem strands, phloem strands, like that they are present, you know, in anatomy. So this absorbed water will enter deep parts of the root by two processes. Water moves to deeper parts of roots by two methods. The water which is absorbed by the root hair is entering through the cortex and in middle of the root by two processes which are called apoplast and symplast pathways. Apoplast and symplast, what is the difference between apoplast and symplast that we already discussed in cell wall parts of cell. In cell cycle we discussed that already. What is apoplast? Apoplast means non-living continuum of tissue. That means which includes cell wall and intercellular spaces totally. That is what we call apoplast. Then symplast means living continuum of a tissue. That means a living part of the cell is called as what? Symplast. Living part means plasma membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, everything. So non-living continuum, non-living part of the cells is called as apoplast. You copy this, then how apoplast and symplast are taking place, that we will see. Complete? Yes, thank you. Now see that absorption of water into deeper parts of the root. From epidermis into the xylem tissues, how there is movement. Suppose take a pot. Suppose this is how we can draw. I will draw a diagram. This is a pot of epidermis of root. I am simply showing the anatomy of root. Root has epidermis, one layer. Epidermal layer is there. Like this epidermis. This epidermal cells have what? Root hairs, where epidermal extensions are there, they are called what? Root hairs. Inside the epidermis, what is present? Inside the epidermis, there is presence of a tissue in plant roots called cortex. Inside the epidermis, there is a tissue which is cortex is present. That cortex is majorly made up of parenchyma cells with intracellular spaces. This cortex. Below the cortex, there is the presence of another layer which is called as endodermis. Endodermis is present. I will mention the names of every tissue. This is endodermis. This endodermis in plants, based on that lignification, based on the presence of lignin or absence of lignin, they are divided into two types, In cell wall, I told you, cell wall, secondary cell wall, lignin is present, Casparian strips, passage cells. Okay, lignified or suberized cell walls are there, means then permeability will be decreasing. Okay, here this is what we say endodermis. Inside that endodermis, there is presence of another layer of cells which is called as pericycle. Pericycle is present. Suppose inside that pericycle there is presence of medulla tissues. That medulla is divided into what? Xylem, phloem. Suppose xylem cells are here and medulla tissue normal. This xylem we can differentiate well. Xylem, medulla, somewhere there may be phloem also. Phloem cells, phloem tissue which is responsible for transport of food materials. So what are the parts of this root now? This is root hair. This is epidermis. This is cortex. This is endodermis. If endodermis has rough thick-walled cells, that is Casparian strips, somewhere there is presence of loosely packed endodermis cells where lignin or suberin is absent. That is what we call passage cells. Passage cells are permanent, whereas Casparian strips are, they are permeable passage. These are impermeable. This one is pericycle. This is, suppose, xylem. somewhere there is a presence of phloem. Here, as we are discussing movement of water into here, we have to mention only xylem majorly. Now, what is this apoplast and symplast pathways? What is apoplast? I told you, non-living matter. Suppose water molecule is absorbed into roots, then its movements from epidermis, it will enter root hair to epidermis first. From epidermis, they are moving into the cortex. See here movements I am mentioning. From cortex, then it enters endodermis, where through passage cells. Then from passage cells, it is entering pericycle. Then pericycle into medulla. Finally, it reaches xylem. Where the movement is taking place? Through intercellular spaces only. That is what we call apoplast movement. Apoplast movement. Suppose if we take another root hair for symplast mechanism, then the movement of water, if you see here, suppose water entered this root hair, then it enters epidermis. From epidermis to cortex, it is moving. Cortex. Through cortex, it is moving, and finally it reaches the passage cells. From passage cells, next this pericycle. From pericycle into medulla, finally it reaches xylem. So what is the difference here? In apoplast movement, see here, this is apoplastic movement. In apoplast movement, water is moving from root hair, epidermis, then cortex, endodermis, pericycle, medulla, finally xylem through intercellular spaces. Whereas in symplast, water molecules are moving through the cytoplasm of the cells. Through the cytoplasm. This is apoplast symplast. This apoplast symplast, we can simply mention like, suppose there is a cells of epidermis cells. Epidermis cells have cell wall. That epidermal cells are then they are connected with, this is middle lamellum. Yeah, everyone will see clearly. Yeah, suppose epidermal cells. Epidermal cells are connected with the cortex through middle lamellum. This is what we say middle lamellum. This middle lamellum is connecting with this. This is middle lamellum. Yeah, this is somewhat confusing for you. Simply, this is one cell. Suppose this is epidermal cell. It is covered with a cell wall. Then another cell has epidermis is connected with cortex. It has another cell wall. Cortex is then connected with endodermis. It has another cell wall. Endodermis is then connected with pericycle. Pericycle also has cell wall. Then finally they are connected with xylem. Xylem. Now this is what epidermis. This is cortex, endodermis, pericycle. Suppose here like what root hair we can say. Now this apoplast pathway, symplast pathway, if you see the differences, symplast pathway is movement through that cytoplasm itself. Through the cytoplasm, that symplast pathway, water molecule is entering one cell. From one cell to another cell, they are carrying through symplast. For that water molecules, what is this passage present between two adjacent cells? What is responsible for passage of water molecule between two adjacent cells? That is, what is that? Yes, plasmodesmata. Then water molecules movement is only through intracellular spaces. Through this cell wall only. Green color what I shown here is symplast. Red colored, this is what red. Red denotes apoplast movement, where through cell wall only finally it is reaching xylem. Whereas green color is there, this green color movement is mentioning symplast pathway, where movement is taking place through the cytoplasm. Note down this too. In apoplast movement, water is absorbed by epidermal root hair. From that is being carried into the xylem through extracellular spaces. Extracellular movement, intercellular spaces or extracellular space like cytoplasm, cell wall and middle lamellum. Cell wall and middle lamellum that forms apoplast continuum. Through that apoplast, if there is water molecule movement into the xylem, that is apoplastic movement or apoplastic absorption of water. Whereas through the cytoplasm, if there is a movement of water, then it is called as symplast. Most of the water is taking place by apoplast. Okay. Yeah. Movement through penetration. Penetration across the cell membrane. Crossing the cell membrane. See here. Here the cell membrane is crossing so that it is entering the epidermis. From epidermis to cortex means again it is penetrating or moving across the cell membrane. Here also from one cell to another cell, membranes are crossing. Here also. In endodermis also that is crossing from cell membrane. Yeah, crossing across cell membrane is symplast. Penetrating through the cell membrane. Yeah. For these two processes, you draw this diagram. For these two processes, I will give notes in next class. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Bye.